Okay, welcome everyone to the Monday, June 2nd, 2025 Florida Town Council meeting. We'll start the meeting by reading of the previous minutes.
So I read the minutes and I would like to approve them as written.
Okay, I'll
Make a
second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, minutes approved. And we'll move on to old business, Commonwealth. You have anything you want to say?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were just listening and observing.
No. I haven't been here for a few months. There's been other people filling in for me. But again, my name is Darren Wells with Commonwealth Engineers. Pam, do you have a copy of the memo that was sent out? Okay.
Everything.
Yep.
Mhm. Yep.
Very good. I'm just going to kind of go to cliff notes over this memo and certainly entertain any questions you might have. So just give you an update on the wastewater projects, Division A, the wastewater plant improvements. So we're having progress meeting number 7 scheduled for next week, Thursday, June 12th, at 11 o'clock to go over that project with the contractor. As we always do, we issue out minutes from those meetings and send it out to all the attendees as well as the board. We're continuing to do shop drawing reviews as we always have been doing from the beginning of the project as they come in. Reviewing those for the contractor Patterson Horth. As far as work that's been completed by contractor Patterson Horth over the last period, their main focus has been on the new secondary clarifiers, the concrete work associated with that, as well as the influent pump station concrete work. They've also done some miscellaneous concrete pours for blower pads and generator pad. And then, so that's what.
Wait a minute, what was the generator pad?
Generator pad, concrete pad for
For
the generator.
what? Okay,
That's a new generator.
the new generator.
Yeah, as well as for the blowers. So they've been doing concrete work, has been their focus for right now, as well as excavation. So that's been the focus. They've also been working on the RAS, the return and waste sludge pump station work as well as associated with the clarifiers. As far as work coming up, it's kind of more of the same, because it's a lot of concrete work associated with that. So they're going to continue working on the secondary clarifiers, as well as the pumping station that's associated with the clarifiers. And then continue with the influent pump station as well, as far as concrete work is concerned. I guess, Randy, is that consistent with what you've been seeing out there?
Also to add, Division B will be Wednesday. We're gonna separate the two.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
mention that in a
sorry.
minute. Yeah, that date got changed because our project engineer could not make that original time. As far as the contract dates for Division A, again, it pretty much stands as before. There's been no date changes. So we're still looking at a substantial completion in the April 2026. So just about 10 months or so out from that. Pay application number 6, I believe you guys have a copy of it in front of you. That's for Patterson Horth. They're asking for the amount of, the total amount's $400,076.75, but once you factor out the retainage of roughly $20,000, the payment to the contractor will be $380,072.92. That we're seeking board approval tonight. Moving on to wastewater project Division B, which is the collection system sewer rehab work. As Randy mentioned, that date of the meeting will be Wednesday, June 11th at 10 a.m. So the meetings will not be on the same day; they'll be one day apart. And then we'll go back to normal in July. Again, minutes will be distributed. Work completed on that project by Insight, who's the contractor. They completed the cleaning and the CCTV work, and they began the cure-to-place pipelining portion of the sewer rehab, doing certain segments. As you guys know, it's kind of been a slow going with the contractor on this one, but it sounds like they're finally ramping up and doing the work that's needed.
Has they been going a lot slower than you anticipated? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
At this stage of the contract being so many months in, yes, tremendously slow. And you can tell by their pay applications. They've only, it's a $1.3 million contract, and they've only achieved about $200,000 of it. Several months in. So yeah, but as of right now, they're on schedule as best as we can control it. We'll see how that goes. They still have a substantial completion on July 5th, so we're a little over a month from that. However, there's a work change directive that's being put in front of you guys or tonight, that's request a 30-day extension to their time because of additional scope work that's been added to the contract. But I'll touch upon that in a minute. As far as work that's going to be coming up, they're going to continue the CIPP or the Pure Place pipelining work. Their subcontractor is going to follow behind and do the manhole work. So they want to do the lining work first before they do the manhole work, so they're not disturbing the manhole work. Yeah, and then the contract date, like I mentioned, is July 5th. There is a progress payment number 4 in front of you, and as I mentioned earlier before the meeting, there's a typo on the cover letter. The pay application is correct, it's just the cover letter summary is not correct. That's a carryover from last month's PPA number 3. But PPA number 4 is a total contract amount of $30,788.10, less retainage of around $1,539, puts the amount to the contractor this period of $29,248.7. That's being requested for council approval tonight.
Okay.
As far as the work change directive, that's the last attachment I believe that you guys have. It's work change directive number 2, and what that basically is, this would be turned into a change order at some point. But to keep the project moving forward, we do work change directives. So what you have in front of you is basically a work change directive number 2 that has various items in it, both credits and adders to the project. You can kind of see the laundry list that's in that document. There's 4 items that have kind of been broken out. So the first item has 2 new manholes that are being removed from the project that are no longer needed. So that's being done as a credit. And then item number 2 is removing several segments of cured in place pipelining that are no longer needed to be done based on the information we got from the CCTV work, that the sewers are basically in good shape and we don't need to rehab them. And so there's 6 or 7 of those items that will also be a credit back to the owner. And then item 3 has a dozen or so of added point repairs to the project that were not known at the time of construction, that were discovered during CCTV work, that's going to add to the contract. And then the last one, item number 4, is a liner segment that has to be thickened because the pipe size changes. So as the pipe's going from smaller or larger to smaller, or vice versa, the thickness of the liner is kind of transitioning to that section. So it has to modify the lining system a little bit for that, and there's a cost to that. That was not known at the time of bidding. So if you take all those into account, you can see a summary sort of on the second to last page. You'll see all those credits that have the parentheses in front of them, and then the adders. So it's kind of a wash, generally speaking. And then during the bidding process, there was already an allowance given for point repairs of $30,000. That we knew that there's going to be some point repairs. We just didn't know the extent of it during the project. So we're applying that credit or that allowance to these totals. So the net of all these changes is an adder of $16,776. That we're asking for the owner to approve, the council to approve. And then because of those point repairs that were not known at the time of the project, we're also requesting a 30-day time extension for the contractor to finish. So basically be from July 5th and they'll move to August 4th, which we feel is commensurate with the added work that's being done.
Okay.
So I understand, with the added work, but as you mentioned previously, right? So I guess it's hard for me to swallow that pill when they're already behind and now they're asking for more work or more time to complete.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the engineer's perspective, even the owner's perspective, it's hard to control the schedule of the contractor. We really don't have that control mechanism in the contract. It's their means and methods and how they believe they can do it best. They did dawdle around quite a bit, and so we kind of lit the fire on them over the past couple of months and at the progress meetings that you can see in the minutes. But that's just kind of where it is. I don't feel like they're taking advantage of the situation yet for the 30 days. I mean, they could, I guess in theory, ask for a lot more time. We think the 30 days is commensurate with the work that's being requested for the dozen or so items that are being added. And point repairs take a little bit of time because they're digging up the street, they're fixing the pipe, and they have to restore everything. So it's not like lining a pipe where you can do a segment or 2 a day. This takes more time to do that. So our position is it seems like a viable recommendation for the 30 days. Certainly, if you guys do not want to approve that, it's within your right to decline, and we can send it back to the contractor and say, monetarily we'll approve, but time-wise we're not.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it takes us.
Realistically, though, they probably can't get done everything they're supposed to be getting done, plus those additional items by July 5th.
I would be very surprised if they could get that done. Yeah, so this sort of extends an olive branch to them a bit.
Even if they weren't doing the point repairs, will they get the other stuff done by July? Would they get the other stuff done by July 5th?
I don't know, Randy, I mean, based on what's been completed, they still have a lot of manhole work to do too, so.
Currently, they have 2 crews in town working right now. It's my understanding that next week, Cooley, the subcontractor, will be in right behind them, finishing up manhole work as soon as they get out of the area.
So I guess
I
maybe,
do, sorry, I do
No,
know
no.
that there was a fair amount added point repair wise to them. But I also understand and agree that it's frustrating that there was a long gap in between.
So is there any indication that there would be more point repairs down the road as well?
there could be more work ahead of us. I think there was just a discovery made last week of a storm sewer connection into the sewer that was not known. So that has to be corrected. So yeah, this is not the all-encompassing list. There's gonna be more to do.
Where was that at, Randy?
I do believe it was second in Jackson.
If you look at the last page of this work change, the memo, the last bullets, there's like 4 bullets. Those are items that are not currently accounted for in this work change directive.
This layer. Right?
You see it says point repair manhole 2121 to manhole
Oh, no.
2120, and then after that, those items are not currently in any changes right now, but are pending upon further evaluation by us.
So you're saying item J? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm sorry, it's a 2-page, or I guess it's a 3-page memo, it's our summary memo.
Okay.
Okay.
Given that was the very last page, or the last bullets of the last page. You'll see a list of items that are still
Cost
pending.
unknown,
Oh, I
cost
see.
unknown.
Point 21,
Okay.
21.
We're getting numbers from them and figuring out exactly the extent of that. And then that discovery of the storm sewer. So next month I'll have better numbers for you for these items, and hopefully that will be the end of any surprises, if you will.
You could hold them to the original contract for July and then all the extra stuff, they got 30 days to do that on.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, where I'm worried is that if we approve, okay, we'll give these 30 days. Well, then they come back, oh, here's some more. We want another 30 days, and then it just keeps dragging on. And I understand it can't, but
I understand your frustration.
We're just
certainly.
asking you to make sure you stay on them. And I know you're doing the best you can,
We
but
are, I mean, it's hurting cats. So yeah, I understand. And they could ask for more,
Mhm.
certainly. If these point repairs are for 30 days and then they add these other items in there, they could ask for more time in theory. I guess we just have to see the progress that they're making, if they're making a concerted effort of actually getting it done. And the weather, and stuff like that, it's certainly been a rainy season, that they could have legitimate complaint about that. But,
Mhm.
and then we have the progress meeting next week as well. We can certainly bring it to the table and make sure that everybody's understanding what we need to do here.
all right. Yes, sir.
One thing I'm just thinking about, but I don't know, throw this out loud, is if they're going into July like that, remember we've got fair time, and I don't know where any of this work is going on, but keeping the area around the park and that
That was
not being torn up during,
I was gonna be bringing that up to them Wednesday,
okay, I just,
because some of the work is going to be in the park.
yeah, and that's,
Also
would be
with
good for that
meeting,
anything before.
They changed it again.
What happened?
Also with that, the Division B meeting will be at 1.
But it's not even on this time,
Instead of
correct?
10,
Yes.
Okay. I didn't get that address up there, I apologize. So June 11th is Division B at 1, and then June 12th, the following day on Thursday, is at 11 a.m.
Division A.
Division A.
Okay,
We need to approve this
I know.
money.
any other questions? Comments?
A, B, and G.
You got the hog job coming up. Need those areas and be blocked off for that.
That's sort of what they working on Saturdays.
And you guys aren't trying to delay them more, are you?
On Saturday, it shouldn't be an issue.
They know if they're doing money themselves on Saturdays, so.
Just mention the dates to them so they can try to
Do I have the dates for those two?
coordinate.
June 14th.
And so Nick, these, the costs that they, that, I guess, speaking of that, that's not in any overtime or anything. And that's, them planning on doing full, regular work days because we don't want to be paying overtime when they're already behind and,
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
Anything else?
No. All right.
Enough?
That's
I
enough.
need
Okay,
motions.
we'll need some
Yep.
motions.
Yep.
then.
So,
What are you doing first?
I'll do Division A.
Okay.
I want to make a motion that we approve the PPA number 6 for Patterson Horth work and the retainage for Division A, a total of $400,076.75.
Okay, motion's been made for that amount. I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries for Division A.
All right. So then I'll make a motion for Division B on PPA number 4 for the contracting and retainage for Insight. Total amount of $30,788.10.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right. And to keep the ball rolling,
Mhm.
work change directive number 2. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the price, so that increase of $16,776 and allow the 30 days, but again, request to hold their feet to the fire and hopefully not have any more from that. I'm sorry. That was a long motion.
Okay, I'll
It's okay.
second the long motion. Any discussion on that one? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. I think that's all of them for tonight. Okay, we're gonna move on to new business, benches at the park. We're wanting to replace some of the old benches. We've got some prices on recycled material benches. You wanna go through this list, or do you have one that you like?
Yes.
Does Pam have one
Yes
that
and
you like?
no. The two lowest quotes, I guess we have, one is Uline for $615, and then there's a $28 mounting kit to be able to mount it to the ground to try to keep from them walking away on their own. That one actually has kind of rounded edges on at the leg to try to, so it's a little bit more comfortable, I would think. Haven't sat on it because it's in the magazine. The other would be from Amazon. They have a similar bench for $583. They do not mention a mounting kit, so we'd have to do a little bit more research to find a mounting kit on there. I think I said it was $583, but that has square edges, on the front. Both of those are recycled plastic. I think we have some of these benches or something similar around the park. I know there's one memorial,
The memorial
bench
benches are like
that'd be very similar to this.
Mhm.
And I don't know what our total count is of how many we do need to replace. Scott, do you happen to know how many benches we actually have around?
9.
We have 9 total. Okay, so
Nine.
we have 9 benches. We'd mentioned at one point not replacing them all, but I think with the state of most of them, they're pretty rough with the existing metal benches.
Yeah, the rubbers come off of them.
Yeah, the coating that's on there. So
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to just replace them all.
right, and we did talk about another bench going in that one corner. Whether we talk about that, whether we do the 8 and do the
Cement.
replacing it with the cement bench, so we only have 8 benches.
Yeah, I guess where I was thinking about that going, there's nothing there.
Okay, all right. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
later.
have to look at that, each area we're looking
Right,
at.
right. So, so I guess in my mind, I would go with the Uline. We've ordered stuff from Uline before. It does have the mounting kit, listed available for it. But I would like to replace all of the metal benches that we have out there now. We may need to put some concrete pads down in order to fasten those, but that would be my
And right now it's just
suggestion.
in stone, isn't it?
Stone,
Yeah,
dirt.
there may be concrete where the poles, for the benches are down, but so I would like to make a motion. I need to try and figure out the total of this to purchase 9 of the Uline benches.
And I'm not sure what the shipping would be.
Maybe $200-300
Probably so.
based on general.
What we've
That's a
ordered
total of
before.
$5,787 without not including shipping.
What was it?
Sorry,
It's okay.
$5,787 plus shipping.
Plus shipping.
So that would be my motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to replace all the metal benches at the park, $5,787 plus shipping. I will second the motion. Any discussion on that?
She brought a good point.
Who's that?
Are they made in the USA?
With tariffs in place. I've heard people on Amazon getting their things.
Oh, sorry, I can look at it.
Never charged tariff fee.
So this is not through Amazon though?
No.
I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't had any. We've heard quite a bit from Uline
Well,
already
and
this
usually with
year.
that amount, they might get free shipping too.
Right. Could be.
I just wondered if they were,
It's a good question,
if
but
they were made in the
Yes.
USA. That's a question.
I don't think any of us know the answer to that.
Amazon might not be made in the USA.
Right.
Right. Yeah, these are not.
I don't think anything that we've ordered from Uline has been free shipping.
They actually deliver in Chicago, mainly does. We have it next day.
So let's vote on the motion
Okay.
in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Yeah, we kind of look at that sometimes. We need to start looking at it more. And if we see that it's gonna be a problem, we can take that amount of money and buy them somewhere else
Mhm.
or buy a different one.
Right.
Okay, every year we have to, next item, solar park yearly compliance document. We have to sign off on this paper saying that the solar park is in compliance with what the town wants them to do, and I think they are, as far as I know. Anybody else have anything different to say about that?
No.
Okay.
We just have to put it in the minutes.
I signed it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Perfect.
Just another comment on new business. We're looking at redoing our zoning ordinances. And we talked to a engineering company that may be doing that for us. We need to look at the papers a little more and find out a little more about it, but that may be upcoming in the near future. And then we'll move on to some reports. James for Police Department. Good evening.
Hello?
We had 126 calls for service last month, 7 citations and 58 warnings issued, 1 parking ticket. There were 3 criminal arrests, 2 of those were misdemeanor, 1 was a felony. 2 warrant services and 6 accidents.
Wow.
The only other thing that I have, I've been working with Pam and Breezy, Area Plan 911 in the assessor's office, looking around the park. Got several buildings up there that are not addressed, including the scout cabin and several other buildings. Looking at the streets, I don't think we ever found an ordinance, but 2 of the streets were named. One was Peace, one was Joy, which do not match the 911 mapping. So just to give you guys a heads up, I'll probably come to you next month. Maybe like the streets where the water tower is at or that road will need to be named. And we'll get the names and get the addresses accordingly. Pam, I think it was at the first of the year or last year, we bought 3 AEDs that are going to be going into concession stands. For health department purposes and stuff, we need to have addresses where these AEDs are going. So
Normally, we've had Chance use it because Fred was off the tree, so this year Fred really hasn't used it a lot either. So, but yeah, he didn't really have a lot of time to work on it the day that he did do it. So,
But I guess I don't want to complain, but I think it needs a lot more. We need to stir it all up pretty good, and then the parts that don't have a lot of stone, we need to add some stone to.
I've got some at the park right now.
okay.
How much stone?
I got 1 load right now that I'm working on
He said
spots.
he figured that out.
Just for spots?
Well, I've had it for where the Little League sets. There's a place where the bathrooms,
Oh, that
that dip there, I've got that filled in, and then I'm just gonna start working back in that area. And then wherever else we need it, and
yeah, let's look at between the cattle barn and the 4-H building. That stretch in there.
oh, that center area there.
Yeah, I've heard some people
Yeah, I'm
tell me
not sure
that,
if you said that part at all. So,
you know, and we might just need stone brought in for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
see what you think of it, but we can talk about that.
Okay.
Anything?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. So on the filling in the Hoosier Wreck sinkhole, have we talked with them to try to make sure going forward that, I mean, that they use something else besides what they're doing? If we're having to fix a lot of sinkholes, it seems like an issue.
Their job is completely done now. I mean, so I guess we won't be going forward with it, but yeah, I mean, I don't agree with how they filled it with sand. I don't like that idea, but a lot of people have been complaining about how it got filled back in with sand, but the job's over with now. I think if we were to have them come back in, it'd probably be at another cost, I would imagine. But so as of now, every time someone calls in, we just go fill it in with dirt. But I don't know what we can do to rectify it with Future X.
Right, and I understand. I'm just saying going forward,
Right.
if we would use them, for
Right.
anything,
For
that
anything else.
we make sure that that's clear that we
Right.
can't allow that. I mean, we have to have better
Right.
control on that.
Right.
Okay. The other thing is as you're coming in from the south on 75, there's a big fenced area where we used to have a lot of signs for like different organizations and everything. I think right now there's a Lions Club sign on there, and I'm not sure, but we need to look and see if there's any way of, if we're only going to have one sign, we just need a pole, or it just, that fencing and pole looks kind of run down and everything. So
And since you said that, the one on 18 is broken at the bottom.
Okay.
And I think it's just fencing and like it may be a fence issue, maybe
Okay.
not something you guys would do, but we probably need to contact somebody that has the fence right.
Okay.
yeah, so we just need to decide
Is it just
how many
kinda
signs
hanging
are going to be up there, and if that's even the proper.
Okay.
So just take a look at it.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
Randy, over to you.
We had Bill Anderson come in, calibrated all our flow meters. We installed a 1-inch riser on a manhole on 3rd Street. When we run across it, there's no longer a bump. It's worked out fairly smooth. Rob and I both attended different CEU classes to continue our education for our license. We had a sewer line backed up at 108 Howard Street, where we used our little pressure washer jetter, clean that out. We also found a suck hole at 810 Monroe Street where we had jetted out or used the back truck to clean up the area and found a crack in the sewer line, or in the storm line. Renewed our NPDS permit. It's a permit giving us our regulations and limits that we have to hit. It's due every 5 years. We took the back truck out to 801 West Columbia Street, helped the electric department install that new power pole. Other than that, it was just routine maintenance, cleaning up the plant, trying to work around the workers that are there and keeping things running smoothly. We had a plant influent of 9,352,000 gallons and an effluent of 8,909,000 gallons.
Just so you know, we've been talking about getting a different Vector truck,
Mhm.
and we all know we need one, right? But the last email we received about that grant money did say that they're kind of trying to move it along faster, so hopefully we'll get some kind of answer on that by, what'd they say, July?
I think it's.
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, they're trying to speed it up a little bit. We're waiting for the first phase of that's gone to other people and bigger projects for them to spend X amount of money before we can get ours. And the Vector truck was part of that we were gonna use. So anyway, sounds like it may be getting closer. Okay. And I think that concludes everything. Anything in addition?
No.
Pam, you want to say anything?
Just if you're at the park this week in the morning, there's going to be 100 kids running around there for Vacation Bible School. We've got that going on this week. Is it 9 to 11:30?
It's 9 to 11:20.
11:20, yeah. Close. 11:30, yeah.
Maybe 11:30.
Yeah. So there's lots of activities going on at the park this week.
Okay, some announcements. Hazardous waste is being collected June 7th, 2025, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the municipal shop. And you guys sent out a list of what's
Mhm.
accepted, didn't you?
And everybody should have got a card as well.
Hog Jog Car Show breakfast, June 14th at the park. At the park. Town office will be closed Friday, July 4th for the holiday. Fireworks show will be on July 4th. And the next town council meeting, July 7th at 6 p.m. Any other announcements?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor?
Oh, you know what? Sorry.
Oh.
Jessica Heater had something. You need to speak up. No, we're,
Sorry we went so fast.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so, next Wednesday, sorry, my knees are a little confused, next Wednesday at 4:00, the gates will open to the circus. They are going to raise the tent at, I believe, 10 a.m. They want anybody and everybody that wants to see it to come out. They want us to walk around and see the, behind the scenes of how the circus is gonna go. So, anybody that
When you say next Wednesday, you mean the 11th?
The 11th.
The 11th,
Yes,
okay.
Not 2 days from now.
Okay.
So, and
So tell me that time again.
they're gonna come out at 10 a.m. or they're gonna start raising at 10 a.m. They will be here well before that, I'm assuming, because they set up tear down one day. I believe they asked me to be out there at 9 a.m. to help them get everything started. You can get tickets here, or you can get them at the library. And then, the one thing that I do need to make sure that I do is Breezy and Pam, I need to come and see you guys on the 10th. I need to grab all of the stuff. Because
Sure.
I have to take it to them that one.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah,
You said gates open at 4,
games open at 4.
The same day, Wednesday the 11th.
and then there's 2 shows, correct?
There's one show at 5.
Oh,
and
one.
there's one show at 7:30.
Okay.
And as for like our safety plan that we came up with and everything, we had talked about the whole address thing so that the first responders could find where we were. So we did work through that. But I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I don't remember what the last point was. I was thinking about that. Oh, I do not know exactly what time they're going to get out of there. I'm assuming they're going to sleep in the morning and to do the shows, tear down and go. But I don't know if they're leaving at 6 a.m. on the 12th or
That's fine. With,
not
with,
tell me.
with where it's at, the barricades probably won't get ripped down for a couple days.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fine whenever they need to leave. We'll leave that opening for them as we
Right.
talked about. So.
Okay. So that's it.
Good, thanks.
All right,
It's gonna
thank you.
happen. It's gonna be fun.
Okay, we've had a motion to adjourn, and I second the motion.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, just like that. Okay. So it was on the wrong